Getting to the money, I be getting to the back. People think I'm funny cause I always make them laugh. I ain't even being funny, I be really spitting facts. I'm about balance and I got talent. Every challenge I overcome. Low-key is savage, never be average. Give me a task and I'll get it done. Minding my business whenever I come in. I'm hitting in business while I'm having fun. I ain't worried about winning, but that would be dumb cause there's no competition. I already won, huh? Yeah.
Peace, 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 family. How you all doing? I hope all is well with you. My name is Keisha. I'm the owner of Astrologiks, and I am your astrology coach. Today, I will be continuing my Lilith through the signs series with Lilith and Sagittarius. Now, this is my natal Lilith. And so what is Lilith? Lilith is a mythology. Mythology means, it's not meant to be taken as truth, but we use the symbolisms from the story to explain how this could be playing out in your life. Also, before I continue, this is either for Lilith in Sagittarius or Lilith in the 9th house. And so the mythology of Lilith is that she is the first wife of Adam. And they were both created equally. They both had the same knowledge, skills, independence, freedom. And they were both created from the dirt. But over time, Adam became controlling, and he wanted her to submit to him. And he always wanted to be on top. And because Lilith was created equal, she wanted to take turns. Like, why can't I be on top sometime? Why can't I make decisions and things of that nature? And so because Lilith wouldn't submit, she was kicked out of the Garden of Eden. And this sent her on enraged journey to sleep with demons, have children, kill children, torment people. After Lilith was kicked out of the Garden of Eden, they say God made Eve, and Eve was created from Adam's rib, and so she was meant to be more submissive. And they say Lilith even tormented her and had her, she kind of whispered in her ear that you don't have to be submissive. You don't have to listen to try to get her to turn against Adam and things of that nature. And so the symbology from this story is that this is kind of where we have repressed sexual energy, where we're ashamed of things, and we kind of have some regrets about certain choices and things that we do in our life. And ultimately, we tend to act in very demonized, vengeful, rageful ways. And so Sagittarius is a mutable fire sign. It's ruled by Jupiter, and it lives in the 9th house. Jupiter is known for luck, optimism, blessings, and very joyful, upbeat energy. The 9th house in Sagittarius is a representation of announcements, broadcasting. This could be spirituality, religion, your worldview, philosophy, morals, ethics, beliefs, spiritual law. This could also be long distance travel, anything to do with foreigners or foreign experiences. Yeah. Public speaking, or publishing, or writing a book. Yeah, I feel like I could say so much more than that, but yeah, Sagittarius is like freedom, truth, long-term goals, and wisdom. That's what I was trying to say. And so, um, these people are known for being wild, courageous risk takers. They love their freedom and they love to have fun. They seek out experiences. They are liars. They will risk a relationship for a sexual experience, and they still get to keep their partner because they're usually typically really good with their words, and they tend to be pretty lucky even in their devilish demonic ways or manipulative lion ways. Because it's Jupiter, they tend to be really good with their words to the point where they can explain why they did something to get their significant other to believe them, and the person will typically end up staying in that relationship with them even though they cheated on them. Um, so they are great storytellers. Um, they will step on heads to get ahead, or they will do anything for the experience of something. You know, they will ditch you for an experience to hang out with anyone who they feel like they can learn from, or it's just fun, or if they're famous. Um, they're very adventurous, and so they might tend to, on a whim, want to do things out of the blue, have an experience, go for a drive, or things of that nature. They're opportunists, you know. Um, they are really good at um, using people for what they have, or using people for the knowledge that they have, or using people for, again, an opportunity to have an adventure. They can be very self-righteous, um, and tend to think that they can do whatever they want. Um, they tend to think that they're always right and can't be stopped. These people get away with a lot, again, because they are ruled by Jupiter. And so in some experiences, they tend to, um, I want to use the word swindle people, you know, to the degree of being able to get what they want. But I do also think it has a lot more to do with the fact that it's ruled by Jupiter and they just get lucky. Um, I don't know why I get the like these are people who will be in a situation where they should have gotten in trouble, but something else comes up to interfere, and people kind of forget what's going on because there's something else perhaps more um important that needs to be tended to where their situation ends up either getting pushed back, forgotten, or will come up at a later time. Because nobody can avoid karma, right? And so these people might have prolonged karma due to some unexpected, out of the blue event. Um, and so um yeah, they tend to feel like they can't be stopped and they can do whatever they want. They feel like they don't have to listen to anyone. They can be very preachy, um, like feel like they have the best advice on how to live. Um, or they can tend to push their philosophies onto others. Um, but the way they might say it is too harsh or too dogmatic or too blunt. Um, or condescending, you know, to the point where the message could have been completely correct and completely truthful and really good advice, but the delivery of the message is not received well because of the way it was stated, right? And so on the upswing of this, these people are extremely influential on the higher vibration of this. They're not opportunists. They create opportunities for themselves. These people are go-getters. They're not afraid to initiate themselves into situations where they have an opportunity to learn through an experience. Or because they have this mindset that they can go anywhere, do anything. Anything is achievable if you take initiative type of mindset, that they tend to end up learning a lot about their dogmatic, closed-minded beliefs, morals, and ethics. And what it does is it elevates your perspective. Every time they go through a specific situation in that way, they learn something that changes their perspective on how they might have thought about it previously. So these people really do learn from experiences. Again, they're good at getting people to listen to what they say. So you really do have to be careful with what you say and make sure you're not lying. Because I think these people on a lower vibration, these people are habitual liars, false teachers, false preachers. And because your influence is so strong, if you're doing it in the wrong way, again, karma does come back. These people crave freedom, probably because they were raised in a very dogmatic, closed-minded, religious, strict household. Or on the opposite end of this, like myself, I had way too much freedom at a very young age. Like, I didn't have a curfew, and this gave me a lot of street smarts, and it gave me a lot of access to different experiences and a lot of wisdom about the ways in which people feel in relation to what they are restricted from, right? Um, and so they can tend to grow up quite fast. Unfortunately, some even end up being like the people who sneak out, like I think of like strict religious homes, and it doesn't even have to be a religious upbringing, a strict religious upbringing. It could be just somebody who has a strict household where they didn't have a lot of freedom. I have a Sagittarius cousin, and I remember sitting in her room and I would watch her put her makeup on, and I didn't know at the time what she was doing, but she would sit in the mirror, she would put curlers in her hair, and she would put her makeup on, she would pick out her outfit, she'd have her music going, and she'd be preparing that whole time to sneak out. Again, I had no clue at the time, but she was always getting into trouble for sneaking out. It wasn't until I got older that I realized she was a stripper. She was a streetwalker. She was out in the streets heavy, but she was never judgmental of other people because of the choices that she made. And I want to make myself very clear. Sagittarius women in general tend to not really give a fuck what people think about them. In some way, shape, or form, they have a deeper um what's the word I want to use? They have a deeper like commitment to themselves and the experiences that they want to have. So this isn't somebody who was influenced to be in the light that they choose to, and these people do tend to choose to be to be a streetwalker or to be a stripper or just going out to the nightclub. The extremes can differ depending on what other placements you have in your chart, but these people are not influenced to do this. This is something that they sought out on their own, and it's something that they wanted to do because they feel like that's what they wanted to do. These people cannot be influenced. And they do not influence other people, but they do have a way with words or experience, their shared story experiences that make people want to be like, well, what is that really about? I think of like when I think of hearing about stories about women who ended up in the industry and it was almost accidental, kind of sort of, where they might have been in a lesser position financially, or again, they was running away from home or something that they really just didn't want to be around. And they would see somebody or know somebody who was in the life, but they would ask, what do you do to make all that money? Or why are you dressed like that? And the offer or opportunity would come up through them asking, by way of them asking questions. Again, they are people who seek out experiences, right? And so a lot of the times they get into these types of situations through learning or asking questions in that kind of way. And they want to know for themselves after hearing a story like such, thinking and hoping that it could help them, or that either way they're going to learn something from this experience. And so, again, on the higher side of this, these people create their own opportunities. They're not going to be seeking other people to get opportunities with them. They hold their own, you know, and they're very independent and make their own decisions for themselves. And they're not the type of people to blame anybody. They're very honest about the decisions that they make, whether they were good or bad. These people are going to be honest and say, no, nobody told me to do this. This is something I chose to do on my own because I wanted to, and will continue to do such depending on where they are in their life, or whatever. They're not doing it for the moral. They're not doing it for the moral or ethics of what other people think. They're doing it for the morals and ethics of what they believe around their beliefs, and how that experience has changed and transformed their life in some kind of way, where they learn something they can teach other people, give some type of advice, or you know share their story. This is also related to publishing, so you often think of people who go through these types of things and they want to tell all book about a specific industry because they have extensive experience in that industry by choice. And so it wouldn't be like a tell-all book, like it's negative. But this is what they found through this experience, type of thing. I feel like each experience, each experience that you go through, good or bad, you evolve. And these people tend to evolve quite quickly. They also tend to want to be in relationships where they have a massive amount of freedom, where their partner might not always be around or even live with them, or they have open relationships where they choose to bring other people in. They tend to have a lot of pets and animals too. This could be a person who has a house full of animals, especially if they have kids. They feel like their kids can learn through the experience of having the responsibility of a pet, and all kinds of pets, and even learning about the pets and what type of living conditions they have and things like this. They might even teach their children or raise their children by way of understanding that type of thing. I know that sounds weird and crazy, but I happen to have a lot of experience with Sagittarius women, not necessarily Lilith and Sagittarius, but Sagittarius women in general, and men too. Um, but yeah, the men can tend to feel trapped in a relationship, or that they'll always attract a woman who want commitment and they really don't, but they might lie and say they do, but with the agreement that I get to go out and do whatever I want. As long as I'm making my money, paying the bills, and I'm home at a specific time, they'll negotiate with you around those particular themes. And you could stay home if you want to. I think they would rather have a partner that would be as adventurous as them. That would be the ultimate goal. But I tend to see Sagittarius men attract the exact opposite of what they want. Of course, women, it's a lot easier because men tend to want those types of relationships anyways, and they win both ways. And so women tend to fare better in these kinds of situations. Um, these women also tend to be like biker women. They're in some kind of biker crew, or they're the man in the relationship where they might work and they might have a more submissive husband. Or there's some kind of, again, agreement or contract that says, um, you go out and get the girls, you bring them in, and we have our experience and we live happily ever after type of thing. And so they tend to play the role of the man. And again, it doesn't have to be necessarily in that for that particular reason. It could be for whatever the situation is, but they tend to be the man in their relationships in that way. Um, and the husband stays home, they cook, they take care of the kids, they do the homework. Like I've seen this with my own eyes. They also tend to might not be in relationships at all, where they'll have, again, an experience. They want to experience people, places, and things. This is my hoes in different area codes placement, because it has to do with long distance travel. And so they could have a double life, and they like that. That might be a type of relationship that makes these people extremely happy, where they can go travel to any city or country they want to, and they have somebody there that they can go to, a home, a family, a situationship, whatever it is. Again, and it doesn't have to be about necessarily about a relationship. They genuinely might have their own home there, depending on their financial status, or they go to school abroad, or family abroad, where they'll frequently visit for the experience, for the adventure of it, and they always learn something from it that again ends up changing or transforming the way they think about their morals, ethics, and beliefs, that elevates them in some kind of way until they get to a point where they can, again, write a book, do a public service announcement, or they're public speakers, or um, these are influencers you see on YouTube, or they're marketers, or um, a teacher, a preacher, a spiritualist. I actually happen to have, now that I'm thinking about it, and I think I have mentioned this before if you've been following me for a while, I tend to have a lot of Sagittarius teachers. And so these people do grow and evolve through the choices that they make, but without malice. Like these people don't hold grudges. They're not disdained about their experiences. These people tend to think like, I did what I did because I wanted to. But it made me a better person type of mentality. They're not like vengeful or hateful or grudge holders. Um, they know, they are very aware of what they're choosing to do, and they like it. They like it that way. And they wouldn't change anything for the world. They make the change. They tend to grow and evolve quite quickly and grow up quite quickly. Um, on the higher side. You know, some people who are on the lower vibration of this are very dogmatic and closed-minded. These are people who will judge you, or again, they're very condescending to the morals and ethics and beliefs of another person, especially if it doesn't align with theirs, or they'll tend to be angry or catcall like um uh how do I often think of the energy of like great debaters, where there will be two people who will debate about a specific topic and go back and forth, uh, or they're like trolls, or like they will troll you, um, or again, they're just very condescending people. They are very condescending people to, depending on what other people choose to do in their life when they're closed-minded. Dogmatic just means a very closed-minded person. You can go Google the definition, but the simplest description of somebody who's dogmatic is somebody who has some real strong beliefs, that they are closed-minded to other beliefs and ways and um, of doing things and seeing things. Um, yeah, so these people might choose to go to college just to get away, or to have some kind of freedom instead of for the purpose of learning. They're heartbreakers. They have sex with no strings attached. You might attract people with a free spirit and knowledge and wisdom. And you might be somebody who's, again, against religion, closed-minded, or this is somebody who always wants to travel and live beyond their means. So obviously, I know a lot more about this because my Lilith is in Sagittarius, but um, this is my interpretation of Lilith and Sagittarius. As usual, family, I love and appreciate you. I hope you found this information helpful. Peace.